The Department of Labor decries employers in the Bahamas who are purposely underpaying their workers for overtime and not following the Employment Act. Director of Labor Robert Farquharson relaying his support for the Court of Appeal in their affirmation for the Industrial Tribunal decision to award a security guard some $11,000 for overtime pay over the course of 4 years. He gives some clarity as to how the company West Tech International Security attempted to elude the law.
The employer refused to abide by the provisions of Section 10 of the Employment Act. Section 10 of the Employment Act makes provision whereby if staff is required or permitted to work overtime on their day off, they have to be paid certain remunerations. The employer thought he could have gotten away by having the staff sign a document to say that if they work overtime, they will not accept a certain amount of money. They would accept less than what the law allows. At that point, we advised him that he was inconsistent with the law. He decided not to agree by our recommendation. He took it to the tribunal, ruled in favor of the employee, pursuant to Section 10 of the Act, and he's indebted to pay that employee's entitlement plus court costs.
According to the Employment Act that was passed in 2001, no employer can require an employee to work over 40 hours per week without paying overtime. If the worker does work more than their allotted hours, their rate of pay must be 1 and 1.5 times their regular rate. In this case, the security guard in question was being paid $210 per week, the minimum wage of the time, but was paid at the same salary rate of $5.25 per hour for overtime and holiday pay. Farquharson has this warning for employers attempting to do the same.
And this really sets the standard for all employees, really, to say if the law says you're required to do this, you should do it. The law only sets the minimum standard. An employer could pay more than the minimum standard, but they must at least pay the minimum standard. And this speaks directly to all of those employers, particularly in the security services industry, that you are now hereby warned that the Department of Labor will seek to ensure that all those officers, those men and women who work in the security services industry, are paid according to the law.
Now, in regards to any exception to the law for essential workers, Farquharson explains that it's the same all across the board.
There's no difference in the Employment Act. Section 2 of the Employment Act makes a distinction for employee. There's no part-time employee. There's no full-time employee. It's an employee. And so every employee is to be treated equally when it comes to the Employment Act.
Tyler Simonet, Eyewitness News.